My real concern right now is the fact that there's a disconnect between the White House, which is sort of touting sort of these overall volume numbers, and the ICE officers and deportation officers that are trying to protect our communities every day, which are focusing on those violent criminals. Quite frankly, arrests of migrants don't always equate to those that can be detained in ICE custody. And those detained in ICE custody don't always turn into sort of removals, right? So you have this push and pull where ICE is focused on the violent criminals that are in our communities, but an administration that continuously wants to focus on sort of this qualitative number to sort of show that they're there. And quite frankly, in the aggregate, week over week, month over month, you actually see these numbers are kind of falling into line with typical ICE arrest numbers in volume. And you've actually seen a precipitous drop in the arrest of violent criminals.
I see. So do you feel that some of this is just for show, reporting these numbers?
Yeah, I mean, what you see now is hundreds of ICE officers being flown into cities that are being, the blue states or Denver, Chicago, LA, Philly, Philadelphia, and they're sort of surging this sort of arrest capacity. And then those officers take time to get back to their home areas of operation, and then arrests go down. So you're seeing the sort of media splash of it, but we need to continue to delve into who are we arresting, who's being detained, and who is being removed. Nobody is against. Everyone is for sort of going after violent criminals in our community.
Would you say about half the time an arrest will actually turn into a detainment and a removal?
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen in the last few weeks in Aurora and Chicago, like in one Sunday, you'll have 80 arrests. They'll be focused, ICE is focused where they should be on violent criminals. They'll go out and pick up 12 individuals that have violent criminal records, but there'll be collateral arrests. Half of those are released. They're not even detained in ICE or ICE custody, but then they're also, none of them will ever sort of see removal. And that's the sort of sophisticated sort of understanding of the immigration process that folks, I believe, are going to, over time here, over the next few weeks and months, see is the important piece, is getting violent criminals off our streets, and those that have no legal pathway to be here, to those being removed.
And let me ask you, President Trump wants local sheriffs, local police, jails to be able to identify, detain, and question suspected illegal immigrants, undocumented migrants. If local officers start stopping people, start questioning their immigration status, how does one do this without it slipping into racial profiling?
It's extremely hard and extremely difficult, especially since a lot of state and local and county law enforcement don't have the training, the expertise, the sort of information and sharing with immigration enforcement agents to sort of do that in a way that is under the law and under our civil rights and civil liberties. And clearly, we have a situation where state and local officials, even sanctuary cities, should be working with ICE when they are detaining violent criminals. They should be working with ICE to make sure that those individuals are being placed under detainers and are turned over to ICE. What you should not be having is these sort of fear campaigns in our communities. Nobody wants that. Quite frankly, immigration into our country builds our economy, it builds our communities, but we want public safety. That is clear what folks voted for in November of last year. And that is what clearly is being lost over the last couple of weeks.
We heard initial reporting of quotas of up to 75 arrests per field ICE office. Do you agree with quotas?
Quotas create a system where folks sort of target the sort of most vulnerable, the most removable. They focus individuals that aren't the public safety or national security threat.
I see. So you're saying the low-hanging fruit rather than going after a hardened TDA gang member, for example.
If you're telling an ICE officer every day that he has to go out and arrest 50 people, they're going to target down on the individuals that are the most accessible and that are the most removable. And where our ICE resources should be put is on those public safety, national security threats. And quite frankly, over the last 3 weeks, violent criminal arrests have went down, volume has went up, and actually you don't see sort of a strategic plan. That's what I challenged Mr. Homan and this administration to sort of lay out for the American people. How do all these pieces fit together? How are you actually not just showing sort of the blustery image on TikTok or Instagram of like sort of ICE arrests that go on every day? and sort of this up and down NASDAQ, stock exchange reporting of where the arrests are, but actually show in real numbers how you're keeping American people safe.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.